Or if they go 0-2, they could fall all the way to the number 7 seed. Our starting lineups here tonight. It's senior night. 4 of them will start. Felix, Holland, Lammert, and eBay for the Horns. The junior Isaiah Taylor is the point guard. Bill Self and the amazing Kansas Jayhawks. It'll be Mason, Graham, Selden, Ellis, and Landon Lucas has joined the other 4. He has become a mainstay. John Higgins, our lead official. Ray Natili, Jerry Pollard, a worker with him. And it'll be Longhorns with the first possession.
Brent, when we saw these 2 teams in Lawrence, Texas did a great job of getting into the lane off the dribble.
eBay with Lucas trying to keep him out of that low block. Drives in, misses with the left-handed shot, and Perry Ellis snags the first rebound.
I think if you're Kansas, you go inside to Lucas and see if you can get eBay in foul trouble.
Screen from Ellis to help. Graham, and there's our first whistle as he began his drive. Felix was a defender, and he picks up the first personal foul. So Shaka Smart, his first year, and he has brought enthusiasm. Folks, this is as good a building as I've seen in Austin in the last decade. Nearly a sellout, and the stars are out. Tony Romo flew in for this one. Roger Clemens is here. And Perry Ellis said, this is why we're the champions, as he knocks down the first J.
He's a star in his own right as he finishes up an incredible 4 years in Lawrence.
eBay out for that high help screen. Felix comes down, reverse, no, into Lucas's hands. So Texas with 2 good looks on their first 2 shots. Miss him, Graham's wide open. You cannot give that young man that kind of daylight. Good start for the Jayhawks now. Lammert got great range for a big man, in case you haven't watched the Longhorns this year. One of the seniors out there. Ellis on a switch to Felix. Felix drives, and it's over to Holland. He's going to attack the rim. eBay, no. Shots right underneath the basket. Can't convert, bad pass. But it's out of bounds. It'll be Jayhawk basketball.
But to your point, Brent, 3 good looks for Texas. They just came up a little empty. Kansas did not practice yesterday. They walked through, watch a little film. Bill Self told us trying to save their energy for the conference tournament.
He also said that it was time for the fellas to enjoy their championship. They actually had a trophy presented at Allen Fieldhouse. Bill had been criticized a little bit, as much as you can criticize a guy who's won all those championships. But he said, you know, it was time to bring the trophy out and have a ceremony.
I like it. Absolutely. They celebrated on Saturday.
So there is Tony Romo, and look at that. Look at that. That's Colt McCoy and Jason Witten. So it's Romo, then Witten, and Colt McCoy.
Pretty good. Tony is a big basketball fan. See him a lot of SMU games. Texas plays zone on inbounds. They go back man.
Mason.
Oh boy, quick start. Sometimes, Brent, senior day drains you a little bit. All the emotion beforehand. You got to get your focus back.
Ellis with Felix. Lammert. Holland underneath. Put it back. No. And no foul. Lucas with great hustle.
Absolutely. He might have got the shot clock as well, Brent.
Ellis. high off the glass. They can't do anything, and finally there's a foul.
It's going to be a good matchup inside between eBay and Lucas, simply because they both love to bang in there.
The Horns have missed their first 7, Fran. Eric Davis checks in along with Kerwin Roach, 2 of the very talented freshmen. And 2 of these seniors, Holland and Felix, will sit early for the Horns.
And Roach and Davis are not necessarily instant offense, but both have come into their own in Big 12 play. Matchup of 2 of the best point guards in the league. Of course, Mason, a bulldog defensively.
Taylor, a floater. Out of bounds, and the ball belongs to the Horns.
Well, I know how much you like Landon Lucas and what he's meant to that interior defense of Kansas over the last 10 games.
Whistle on the inbounds, and a foul is going to go against the Jayhawks. It's on Mason. Coming down, Roach was stopped. Selden with the terrific defensive play and a save. Smart is lobbying. Wanted a foul on that play. Selden's floater bounces through. The champs are playing with house money, folks. They're as loosey-goosey as I've seen this Jayhawk team. And the Horns, meanwhile, are 0 for 9 from the field.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by
The arc, and watch him go vertical now. Straight up. He's allowed to have that position. Great interior defense by the junior.
That was a terrific replay by our camera.
Absolutely, yep.
So Roach will bring the ball down here for the Longhorns. He and Davis stay in along with Taylor. So it's a 3-guard lineup along with eBay and Lammert. They are 0 for 9. Davis has great promise. Now they're 0 for 10. And Selden will clear for the Jayhawks.
Brendan's excellent half-court defense. A lot of blue jerseys inside that 3-point line.
You're watching why the Jayhawks are one of the favorites to cut down the nets in Houston. This is a very good-looking basketball team right now. Tapped on back to Graham. So much improvement overall. And believe me, they've got depth coming off the bench. Pull up by Graham, knocks the 3-ball down. And the #1 team in the country, they regained it today in the AP poll. And they really look like a #1 team here tonight in the early going at both ends of the floor.
Well, those guards have been sensational. Graham and Mason especially. They're in this 9-game win streak.
Lammert passed up. Possible 3. Taylor wants to attack. Pull up Jay on Traylor, who's off the bench, and right on back to Taylor. Comes now with that little floater. Put it back up. No, they still cannot buy a basket. It's embarrassing right now. Mason cut off. Pulls it up. He knocks the 3 down. Everything is coming up Jayhawks right now. The Longhorns are 0 for 13.
I want you to watch where all the blue jerseys are. They know they have to take away Taylor's penetration. They're packing the paint.
They put down a clinic in Austin. Davis drives. There's another rejection by the young man. That is the 4th block by the Jayhawks here in the early going. Graham puts it down, attacks. Got in very far and tried to make a pass, but he got in under the rim. So here in the early going, we're going to see Svi Mykhailiuk. He's going to check in, and Diallo is off the Jayhawks bench also. Check Diallo. So early going, and it allows Bill Self to take a look at a couple of people.
He's playing with a little house money because he's already got a share of the title, and the team's off to a good start. Luke coming off a huge game Saturday, 5 for 5 from 3.
I don't think many of us saw this coming. 15-0. Jayhawks were only favored by 3 coming into this game. Longhorns have played beautifully. Davis tries to keep it going. And Mikhailuk, I believe, fouled him on the shot. So maybe they can earn their first point of the night at the free throw line.
No, they can see they got him on the pass.
Yeah, he's on the pass.
Kansas is giving up the three-point shot as opposed to allowing that ball to go into the paint, doing an excellent job.
Felix will put it down, and Graham, there's a switch with Diallo. Diallo very active. The floater from Felix. First hoop of the night. I thought these fellas on the baseline to my left would have to stand all night.
Now we can see that left corner.
Trailer. He attacks Lambert. High. Tap back. eBay. Now they can got a chance to put together field goals and get this crowd back in it. Drive. And that's goaltending on Diallo. Scored.
Well, when Texas led by 10 at the half in Lawrence, they were getting to the lane off the dribble. Tonight, not as much. But you see the freshman get all the way to the rim that time.
Shaquille Clare checks in. He's a big fella, number 32 down there for the Longhorns. Diallo out to help with that high screen. Cross to Selden. Selden has it knocked away, and he is fouled by Tevin Mack.
This is important for Selden, Brent. 33 versus Kentucky in that overtime win. Averaging under double figures since then.
This young man is so capable, Fran. He's hit 61 three-pointers this year, and that leads this Jayhawk team. But over the last few games, he's been rather quiet. However, number 10, Svi Mikhailuk, has picked it up coming off the bench. He stays there, and Brandon Green will join him now in the backcourt.
You rarely see a Kansas team without Mason and Graham out there.
And Felix attacks the baseline off the glass. They cut that 15-point deficit down to 10. Good surge here for the Horns.
I'd take my chances and turn up the heat a little bit in the half court, at least until Mason enters this game next whistle.
Here's one of the grand seniors.
Man.
Ellis quieted everything down with tacking for that field goal. Nothing doing at that end for Eric Davis, and right back at him is Ellis. Davis is very mindful of Mikhailuk. He's been shooting well, so it'll be Selden, rims out, and Traylor is coming through, and he's going to be called for the personal foul. Fouls on number 31, Traylor. In the early going, the team that has won 12 consecutive Big 12 championships had everything going their way. Can the Horns respond?
Return. They were hopeful he would get cleared at his Friday's doctor visit, but that didn't happen. But he is very close. It's not unrealistic to think he could come back for the Big 12 tournament. He's continuing to do a ton of cardio. They had him in the pool this morning at 8 a.m. We saw him do a 45-minute workout on the bike, so he's trying to get back. We'll see if he can make it to Kansas City.
Mack on the outside knocks down a 3-ball.
Oh yeah, another one of those freshmen. He's had some streaky games down the stretch of his freshman year.
They are not giving Mikhailuk daylight. They respect what he has done the last few games.
And you got to worry about Green as well.
Here comes Mason, the floater. Beautiful shot.
He's able to get to the rim because Clare not quite the rim protector.
Taylor. Green with the rebound, and here's Mikhailuk. And Felix, behold it, it was a whistle at the other end. They stopped play as Taylor went down, and they're wiping the moisture off the floor here.
I'm sure Bill Self is going to want to know why they stopped that fast break. Unless they're going to the monitor to see if there's any extracurricular at the end of this play. Let's just watch, Brent.
Is that an accident that Lucas got his foot tied up?
I think so. Now, you know, Isaiah kind of pulled at him a little bit. Hope there's not much there.
After watching a lot of basketball, and by the way, I enjoyed you at the Iowa State game on Saturday evening. I have to tell you one thing about this game. The referees have got to speed it up on plays like this. We're taking way too much time, okay?
Yeah, but
dragging these games out. I want to remind everybody, speaking of Saturday, how about next Saturday in Goodwin? North Carolina and Duke at Cameron. What a great game they played in North Carolina. The Blue Devils won that thriller 12 days ago. And Joey Brackets has North Carolina tonight as a 1 seed and Duke on the 4 line.
Yeah, and you know, Duke tripped up yesterday by Pittsburgh, but I love the way Bryce Johnson, what a senior year he's had for Roy Williams.
Let's go over to Holly. She's close to the referees in the monitor.
Well, guys, what they were looking for to see if there was an unsportsmanlike incident when Isaiah Taylor went down. They were looking carefully at where Landon Lucas's foot was. Looked like there may have been a little extra kick, but I don't think they're going to call anything. Let's see what he says here to Bill Self.
I like it. You know, the other minor problem I have with the officials late in the year, Brent, you'll see it right here.
First of all, Taylor got inadvertently tripped on the play, which could have been the foul. And Lucas got tied up down there underneath.
Yeah, that was nickel dime stuff, but I've seen some technical fouls called on a little excess celebration.
The biggest problem was the foul they didn't call on the trip, to tell you the truth, and they can't do that when they go over to the monitor on the instant replay, all right?
That's right.
Just so fans at home see that. They missed the call to begin with. Mason on the drive. Rebound pulled away by Claire. Cross court to Taylor. And Felix is blocked. Michael, what great defense plan the Jayhawks are playing tonight.
One thing I love that they're doing, Brent, is they're getting all 5 blue jerseys back in transition quickly. Bill Self's really rotating his bench early.
Perry Ellis. And a whistle on the play also.
Well, Perry Ellis is averaging 18 and 6 in Big 12 play and finishing up what has been an incredible career. He'll end up in the top 10 in scoring. Marvelous player, McDonald's All-American, class valedictorian.
This has been the year of the senior, for sure.
Absolutely.
In many parts of college basketball, and it's just interesting to watch these fellows over 4 years. When he was a freshman, he was the MVP of the Big 12 tournament at Kansas City. And here he is 3 years later.
Even better. Even better.
Lucas. He's becoming a monster, Frank.
Absolutely. You know, he wasn't heavily recruited, Brett. Bounced around a couple different high schools. Kansas took him as an extra body. We've seen so many of those big guys develop under Bill Self, and Danny Manning had a part in that.
You know, he's blocked 5 shots already tonight. Taylor, now he's not helping out, and Graham went in and tied him up. Lucas cut him off from penetrating, and Graham moved over on the double team and tied him up.
What did I say early in the game? Kansas is committed to stuffing the lane with blue jerseys, and they're keeping Taylor from getting good position deep. Now a little pressure by Texas to change the tempo.
Pick up the Jayhawks, and Davis called for the foul.
There's two ways of looking at clinching a championship. You let down your guard or you just play loose. And Kansas is playing loose tonight. Right?
You think? On the drive, Ellis.
Oh, boy.
Magnificent.
Wow.
He's attacked from every direction here tonight.
Remember, Shaka Smart's already used one timeout. He's only got 3 left.
eBay has to kick it back outside. Yancey. And into Graham's hands. Texas really desperate for a couple of outside shooters. Lammert is one that they might find. Fake, put it on the deck. Again, Ellis goes in. What a night. And the Jayhawks are going to call a timeout here.
Have the personnel that's a good fit to defend Perry. He said he can drive inside, he can step out and hit threes, he can do everything in between. And we're seeing that problem Texas has tonight. If they put a guard on him, Perry's too strong, takes it to the rim. If they leave someone small on him, he shoots over him. It's a big matchup issue for the Longhorns tonight.
Yeah, and driving is Holland and one. Big hoop for Holland on that drive.
We haven't seen that much tonight. An easy drive to the rim. Nobody rotates over. I was thinking of Shaka Smart in that timeout. Watch the drive. Now they just catch Kansas napping just a little bit. Uncharacteristic so far in this game. And Brent, I've started reading a great book, The Legends Club, by John Feinstein, about Dean Smith, Coach K, Jimmy Valvano. Dean Smith right now in a timeout would tell his team down 15-18, this is going to be a great comeback. They've got a lot of time, Texas, to get it done, but not the way Kansas has started out.
And Mike Krzyzewski would say, just keep playing D. Selden will take the ball out of bounds against this early full court pressure. Of course, Shaka back at VCU, he featured a lot of full court press, a lot of havoc defense. Let's see what the young Horn team can do here tonight to help themselves get back in it.
Well, they're facing a team with 2 really good point guards out on the floor right now.
And Selden can handle the ball for you, too. Rifles a pass back. And there is Bragg, misfiring. Talented freshman. The Jayhawks retreat defensively. Knocked out from behind by Traylor. The turnover. Lead pass Graham. Inside Lammert. He'll come to the free throw line. He'll shoot a pair.
Graham knew Lammert was going to cut him off. He sort of threw his body into him, picked up the foul. Really smart play. Take a look now. Great hustle there by Jamari Traylor. These 2 guards have been outstanding, Graham and Mason.
You know, for the first time, we've seen Texas several times this year, Fran. It's been impressive to watch them. For the first time since I've seen them, they look a little stunned here. You know, unable to kind of respond to what's happened to them at the hands of the Jayhawks.
And remember, Brent, a couple of Saturdays ago, Baylor came in here and clocked Texas on the head and jumped out and won that game going away.
There's Lammert's range. Wouldn't stay down, though.
I call this methodical right now by Kansas. First 12 minutes.
Oh, it's been a clinic. Traylor got the roll.
What I like that they're doing is they're going right at the rim.
Taylor flips it underneath, and it'll be a Longhorn ball. So we'll take a break at the 7:29 mark, just inside of 8 minutes. That's the correct score, 32-11 Jayhawks.
Still can't stop him, but he's added a lot of versatility to his offensive game.
There is Lucas on the bench. He has as many block shots, 5, as Texas has field goals here. The Longhorns, 5 of 23, or 21%. Taylor is 0 for 5, and he's attacking again. Kicks it outside. Tap by Lammert, no. out of bounds, Jayhawk ball.
And once again, Kansas crowds the lane, forces you to kick it out, and then you shoot a contested three. And you mentioned during the break, Brent, this Texas team needs some three-point shooting. Anytime you see zone, think lob for Kansas.
Bragg attacked. Lambert will try. He's got range. He's had two that have rimmed out. Battle on the floor. Bragg, the freshman. And a timeout. Timeout was called by the Jayhawks.
Yep, Bragg got the timeout. And how about the hustle by the freshman?
I mean,
It's getting it done. And tonight, Bill Self able to utilize a deep bench.
well, the boys in Vegas think that Michigan State, Kansas, and North Carolina are the most likely teams to be cutting down the nets. And this is an impressive team that you're watching here tonight. It's going to take a heck of an effort. I know Michigan State beat them back in, I guess it was December or late November, whenever that game was. Valentine lit off for Coach Izzo that night. Selden on the drive, and there's a foul, and that is against Holland. Who are your best four, Fran?
Well, here's who I like. Michigan State, Kansas, North Carolina, Villanova. I had Virginia in the Final Four instead of North Carolina back in November, so I've switched up a little. But right now, today, those four teams playing tremendous basketball. I know Villanova got clocked by Xavier, but a long year, very consistent effort by the Wildcats.
But you can't count that Virginia team out. They
I like
played a
that.
nice game against them.
Absolutely.
Loose ball, picked up by the Horns. Holland flips it over. eBay, and one. Now, I know you love eBay, okay? And he reminds us of DeAndre Jordan, great rebounder, finished well. And like DeAndre, here is the Achilles heel.
Yes.
Right now at the free throw line. Watch Fran, he just doesn't bend his knees. He flips up his hands.
Yep.
And bingo.
Well, what's wrong with that? Come on, Brent. It's the results. It's not, okay? It's not the technique. It's the result.
It's amazing.
Hey,
Right?
DeAndre'd love to do that. No, but you know what? He started out 2 for 21. He made 13 of 16 from the line, and he went back into that slump. But you're right. That's one of those things that's going to be a factor for him.
Felix on Mason. Mason lost control, but it was hit by Texas. Let's go back to the free
You're
throw
right,
pack.
Brent.
Yes.
And watch it, little hits
See his
there.
knees?
Yep.
See his knees? If he could do that every time, he wouldn't have to. When you shoot free throws, you shoot them as well much with your knees as you do your arms. But when you see great free throw shooters.
Didn't you do some games that John Havlicek played in? Didn't he have? Oh!
What great rejection by eBay. Goes back up and battles Lucas. Jayhawk basketball. I should say, Longhorn, because of eBay's work. Watch eBay underneath here. This is what you love about this guy.
Well, what he is, Brent, is he's going to be a second-round pick. He's a project. He'll be in the D-League. But in the last month, he's opened some eyes. Why? You're talking 6'11", 265, and a rim protector, runs the floor, size, but there's no question he's a project.
And Landon Lucas agrees with you. He said he's a terrific athlete. And he said, I'm going to have my hands full with him tonight. He said that today at practice.
Now, let's see if you redeem yourself, okay? Because
so Lucas will
eBay
take a seat.
and the big fella's going to shoot some free throws.
He has a magnificent streak of one working. Off the front of the iron. Dive for the ball. Jayhawk.
And that is a liability. There will be a close game, maybe in the tournament, where you think about fouling him. You really have to.
You know, he's so athletic. I'm tempted to say if Rick Barry would spend a day with him and have him learn how to shoot underhanded, that he could become a better than average free throw shooter.
Well, you would know because you spent a lot of time with
It was
Barry.
wonderful, and I'm surprised that no one does it.
There's two that I can think of right now. Canyon Barry, his son,
Right.
at Charleston, who's hurt, and the young man Onawaku at Louisville, who's had a little bit of success this year.
Graham just looking at the referee, and Higgins says, play on. You got a 32-14 lead inside of 5 minutes.
Kansas does a wonderful job of moving the ball versus the zone. They play 3 out, 2 in, and they treat it like a hot potato usually.
Give it back to Traylor. Well done by
Yep.
Traylor. You know, he's very smart. Instead of attacking and going all the way, he had an open little jump shot, knocked it down. Felix at the other end gets it back for the Horns.
Listen, Brent, if you're Shaka Smart right now, this is not going to be easy. Just try to get it down to 10 or so if you can. Get a few stops.
Well, they are all over Mikhailuk, so it'll be Ellis knocks the 3-ball down from the corner. Having a magnificent night. 13 points.
Yeah, he tested the NBA waters last spring, and they told him.
Here we go.
Yep.
Here we go.
They told Perry Ellis, go back to school and increase your range, and he's done that.
When Lambert gets hot, you need to keep going to it. He's got terrific range. Great ball movement by this Jayhawk team. Very unselfish. These guys get along very well. Mikhailuk on the drive. Off the glass.
How about that?
What a sixth man he's going to be in March Madness.
And he's still only 18 years old, the youngest player on this team. He won't turn 19 until June, the young man from Ukraine.
His parents are both educators in Ukraine. Not athletes, but they're both teachers. And he loves to go back in the summer and play with a team over there. He says that this basketball is much more physical than he was used to at home. Holland on the drive. Pull up by Felix. Into Mason's hand. Mason, for his size, Fran, is one of the better rebounders that we've seen in the last few years.
That's exactly right. Bill Self told us a number of times this year he's as important maybe to this team as Perry Ellis is.
Ellis tries to set eBay up. Running hook shot is great, and eBay did not foul him.
But I got to tell you, that's an old-fashioned move.
Well, he's got so many different moves.
Yeah.
He is so hard to defend at the collegiate level. In the NBA, you got a little more size down there, but here at the collegiate level, he's a terror. Holland.
Nice.
Well done. He's had a couple good hoops.
Yes, he has. Playing his final game here in the Irwin Center. Haven't run a lob. Well, now, let's see. They're going to stay in the zone. So long as I've seen Bill Self run zone offense without the lob. But they don't need it.
Gets it back to Ellis. Traylor again. And Lambert rebounds it. A 20-point difference in this game. Taylor has struggled all night. Just can't get it to fall, can't get the fouls. There he gets it back. Well done by Isaiah Taylor.
Stayed with it, poked it loose.
Mason away, highlights of both games coming up. Jeep halftime report. Brent, Fran, Holly, back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much. Hey, look at that. There's one of our fellow ESPN workers. Does a studio show. Mac Brown, longtime head coach. That was his wife, Sally. He's at the game here tonight. Mac works with John Saunders, good friend of ours, Fran. That does a terrific job in the studio.
And Mark May as well does a great job with that crew.
Selden, yes.
Ball
Knocks
movement.
down a 3-ball. Their ball movement has been terrific.
Absolutely. They play side to side so well. It's a very, very unselfish team, Brent. It's kind of the reason Selden's so quiet, because I think some nights he lets other people do their thing.
Hunter Mickelson on the floor right now for Kansas, number 42, big fella in low. Taylor misfiring again, and here is Green. He gives it up, and Graham now with Mason a little shaken up, taking a break, and so Graham will become the main point guard. Selden and Green will work at the perimeter, and Ellis and Mickelson will be inside with the final 30 seconds unfolding.
And we're going to isolate Perry right at the top.
Green with great range knocks it down.
That's what he does, man. What a performance, Brent.
It's frosting when he starts to hit the three.
Yep.
I mean, look at this, folks. It's 47-23. On the road, playing one of the hotter teams in the conference. Lambert won't stay in the Mickelson's hands. At the buzzer, off the rim by Selden. Well, one of the better halves of the season, I am sure that Bill Self would agree. 65%. Perry Ellis with 15, 7 of 8. And Coach Self is with Holly Rose, so let's go to Holly.
Well, Coach, given the way that Texas got out to a quick start in your last meeting, they led 17-5. What do you attribute your fast start to tonight?
We made shots early, and they missed, and we were really ready to play. So hopefully we keep it up the second half.
They've started to change defensively, full court pressure on the ball and some zone. How do you address that with your team at the half?
Well, they actually handle it pretty good, but sometimes we're just content handling pressure. We need to look to attack it.
Thanks, Coach.
And thank you, Holly. Now let's send you to the Jeep halftime report. Chris Cotter and the gang. Chris, take it away.
Thank you, Brent. Jeep halftime report. Jay Williams and Seth Greenberg here in studio with me.
Got to see more of it in the second half.
Folks, let me give you one optimistic Texas stat. On Saturday in that dramatic win over Oklahoma, they went on a 22-0 run. That was the Longhorns. 22 in a row against the Sooners. So let's see what they can do here today against the Jayhawks. It will be Texas in front of their bench with the first possession. Almost went to the basket.
And I'm surprised. We thought early in the game they would go into eBay to get Lucas in foul trouble, but that's not where they get their offense.
Lucas does have 2 fouls for the Jayhawks in the first half.
Well, they got the switch now.
Felix is on Lucas, so Lucas backs him down. Now eBay helps out, and they pick his pocket. And one, Graham fouled him. Felix to the line.
This is important, Brent, because I've been in this situation with a big lead coming out of halftime, and sometimes you let your guard down. Here's an example of Felix trying to get a chance to get 3 back pretty quickly.
Which he does.
Yep. Now this is a good defensive team. Taylor, Holland, 2 defenders. You got the big fella as the safety man. Let's see if the pressure works.
Selden brings it across. Ellis will send it over to Mason. Mason attacks, didn't get the foul, and Selden nails the 3 ball. Talent everywhere.
Well, we talked about that slow start he's had the last few games, but it'd be great for somebody if he comes into the tournament red hot, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Kansas City next week, Champ Week on ESPN. It's going to be tremendous basketball across the country. Holland drives through with the left hand.
I told you how well Kansas did keeping those guards out of the paint in the first half.
Felix was on Graham, and the foul is going to be called. That's his second personal.
Well, Texas has to do something to speed this tempo up and force some turnovers. The problem is with Kansas, you have 4 good ball handlers on the floor.
Ellis spins on eBay, goes to the left hand.
He's got a mark, Brent. He's got somebody he can take off the dribble. He's a mismatch.
Felix at the other end, and Taylor is pushed off, but there's a foul going to be called. And is that number 3 on Lucas? Yes, it is.
Yep. Well, this is what makes Perry Ellis so dangerous. He can score in so many ways. You know, we talk about the versatility of George Niang. but in a quieter way. Perry Ellis has the same similar type of game. That's tough, Glenn. You see that hitch? You don't like the no knee bend, and I don't like the hitch at the top.
Rattles in.
This is that diamond press that VCU made so effective.
Into Graham's hands, but just as you point out, so many good ball handlers on this Jayhawk team. I mean, Mason and Graham, obviously, but Sullivan is very good, and Ellis can help out. Lucas, no, but a foul is going to be called. Lammert was in there, and along with also with Holland, and that's on Holland. High, but Graham brings it down. eBay out on Ellis, and Ellis puts it on the floor and slides right inside it.
Brent, that's tough. eBay 6'11", 265, and Ellis is way too versatile. The problem, Shaka Smart has told us time and again, they don't have anybody to cover Ellis.
Lammert, Holland, and a push-off underneath.
Well, take a look. Lammert is guarding Lucas. And usually the big fellow moves his feet if it's equal-sized guys. That's not an easy matchup for him.
Quickly into Graham's hands. Nine-game winning streak right now that the Jayhawks are working on as Graham knocks down another three. Leap year. So on this 29th of February with a win tonight, the Jayhawks will have been perfect in the month of February. Last loss in January knocked Graham, and it was off Felix.
Yeah,
Graham with a terrific job.
Yep, absolutely. This is a clinic so far. I'm just really impressed with the ball movement on the offensive end.
Now checking in for Texas is Kerwin Roach, the freshman from Houston, the great triple jumper. He comes away with a good steal, but he was out of bounds.
It's one of those nights, Brent. Lammert's had 4 threes go in and out. That time a good hustle play, and the freshman just stepped out of bounds. I always said as a coach, you have 35 games overall regular season. You have 5 great ones. You play over your head. 5 horrible ones, and the other 25 is who your team is. This is one of the 5 horrible games for Texas.
I won't ask you about the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, that's a little different. Although they have 5 losses.
I knew you'd find that answer for me. Here's Graham. Comes up over Lammert.
Man.
Working against the shot clock. That's why he pulled the trigger. Backs it out and knocks it down. Kerwin Roach. He had a dozen points against Oklahoma. Hit 6 of 8 free throws on Saturday afternoon. Played very well. Selden right back at him.
Man.
And Roach picks up the personal foul, reaching in on Lucas. And it's still all Jay. At 57-32. They have Texas. The Kansas Jayhawks have dominated since the opening minute. Perry Ellis is leading the way with 19 points already, but it is the defense that has done the job. They have set this in motion as the Jayhawks opened up a 15-0 lead. And the coach who designed the defensive game plan, who scouted Texas, was Jerrance Howard. He was in charge of talking to the team today about the defense. And he said the key was stopping Taylor from not letting Taylor. There's the young man right there. As you see another of the fine coaches, Norm Roberts. We talk about Bill Self a lot. There you see Curtis Townsend. I have to tell you, this is a outstanding coaching staff.
Without a doubt. Bill Self's had a great staff at Kansas. Danny Manning, Tim Jankovich, Tim now at SMU with Larry Brown. And they have kept Taylor from hurting them. That's amazing.
Knocks down a tough three.
They are 9 of 12 from behind the arc tonight. It has been nearly picture perfect.
There's Taylor trying to get in again. Fade. And it won't fall for him.
You know, Brent, that wasn't a blocked shot by Landon.
No, it wasn't by Lucas.
But he was there.
He was right there with him. And so Taylor decided not to attack the rim, and he pulled it out, had an open look, and now he reaches in and commits a personal foul. So Howard's game plan, don't let Taylor get going. He's 1 of 10 here tonight.
Well, we mentioned in the first half.
Look at him talking to Lucas right now.
Yeah.
Coaching with him about what to do. They very hands-on staff, all of the assistants over there.
And the head coach does a pretty good job as well.
Oh, yeah. He's a future Hall of Famer. He could be the coach of the year every year in the Big 12, but we know how that goes when you rise from nowhere. As Tubby Smith did a terrific job. He'll probably get it with the Red Raiders, but it's hard to overlook Bill Self any year.
I agree. Luckily, the University of Kansas has not overlooked him.
There's another 3-ball.
Yeah.
Mason.
Especially when it comes to his contract.
Worth every penny.
Is it quiet in here? It's usually quiet in here.
I know when it started out to be a noisy crowd. It was noisy against Oklahoma Saturday.
Yes, it was.
And the Jayhawks have taken the air out of it. And that's Traylor on eBay, and he committed the personal foul. Well, the final Super Tuesday. This is the final Big Monday. And Kentucky goes down to Gainesville to play the Gators in the SEC. Then it'll be in the Big Ten, and this is going to be a very interesting game, Fran.
Yep.
The Hawkeyes are struggling. They lost to Ohio State yesterday, and we'll see what they can do against the conference leaders, the Hoosiers of Indiana.
They've already got a piece of the Big Ten championship, the Hoosiers.
Runner by Felix on his senior night, and he with 9 points. He's the leading scorer.
What you're going to see from Kansas, Brent, is what we've seen for 27 minutes, which is great ball movement, no Velcro, ball doesn't stick.
9 on the shot, Jayhawk basketball.
There are nights as a coach when you're looking up at the scoreboard like Bill Self is and saying, damn, are we playing well?
This lead holds up, and the Jayhawks win. They will have the outright Big 12 championship. They have clinched a share with that win Saturday. eBay with a fine steal for the Horns.
Kansas helps so well in that pick and roll. Big guys really move their feet well.
There's eBay, and knocked away and into Mason's hands. Traylor.
Yep. Terrific play by Mason because he was a little bit out of control, gathered himself, and then a great finish. Good find, and the senior Traylor gets on the board.
ESPN.com. That's a terrific sports website. We go to it every day for our scores. And you can go there right after March 13th. All the pairings are announced. Fill out a bracket and see if you can beat Fran Fraschilla. Now, Joey Brackets, better known as Mr. Lenardi, says, Fran, that we got 7 teams from the Big 12 going to the Big Dance.
Absolutely. And Texas Tech, Tubby Smith, that team has had a terrific season, led by a couple seniors, Todrick Gocher and Devontae Williams. Some good young guys as well. Tubby Smith resurrecting the Red Raiders.
You know how good, great drive by Davis, won't stay down, and there's eBay, and foul is called. Do you know how good Joey Brackett's is on this situation as you watch the, that's the tournament resume, and Joey says as of right now they're in the tournament. Offshore, the over-under number, remember you picked 68. Joey Brackett's going to have 68. He's going to pick before the announcement, all right? The over-under is 66.5. You got to be kidding me. Huh?
That's putting pressure on Joey.
They're watching him every year, okay? Joey, my man, if you get over, I get plus 115 on it. We love the work that Joey Brackett does. Battles in.
There you go.
eBay.
Hey, I got a feeling, Brent, we're going to be in Lubbock next year on Monday night.
That'd be nice.
I have a feeling.
Nice. Let's take the Jayhawks into
I
Lubbock.
could see Kansas. Yep. I know we're doing a little programming right now, but uh-oh.
Graham Lott. Whoa! Oh, what a finish by Trey.
Oh, my goodness.
And a foul.
He went to the third floor.
Oh, look at the bench over there reacting to this. Oh, my goodness.
And he had to hold on to the rim.
Davis fouled him.
But this was
to save himself. He stayed
this was coming right now.
Holy Toledo.
Graham had the 2-on-1. And Davis with the hustle, but thank goodness Jamari Traylor hung on to that rim.
12 championships in a row. The Kansas Jayhawks. Just one of the great runs. You know, listen, I'm not going to take anything away from John Wooden and UCLA. Now I want to take a thing. It was great. All-time great, okay? Listen to me. I'm not demeaning them. But there's more depth today in college basketball. I mean, this is coming through a conference that's been good from top to bottom over this last decade. This is an amazing run that's going on.
Well, they won a 12 straight. And think of this, Brent. The top 7 teams in the Big 12, all heading to the postseason NCAA tournament, they've won 86% of their non-conference games.
Taylor with the left hand, and he'll be on the free throw line. Tell you one thing about Taylor. He's a tough hombre. He's only a junior, but he will be given the opportunity to go to the NBA camp, find out how high he would be in the draft. He may leave early. Let's be perfectly honest about it. We don't know what the young man's going to decide.
What he has, Brent, is NBA end-to-end speed. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I also, you know, I like his toughness. He hasn't backed away tonight. He's gone to the floor about a half dozen times on those drives. Now, he hasn't been successful. He hasn't scored. And let's be perfectly honest, he has to work on the outside shot. But if you can hit free throws at the percentage that he does, you ought to be able to shoot a little bit on the outside.
I agree. Comes from South Hayward, California, in the Oakland area. And they play a tough brand of basketball up there.
What can you say about Perry Ellis's game here tonight?
Well, he's a guy I'm going to be very interested.
Agreed.
What NBA teams think of him, because they've watched him for 4 years, and he's probably polarizing in that regard about his NBA stock. But boy, is he skilled. The league is smaller than it's been.
He's very quick.
Yep.
Great team player. Hustles. He certainly is worth a good look. He's a little bit undersized for his game.
Yes, he is.
I think we all agree that was a shot clock violation.
Kind of like Draymond Green, a little undersized.
Yeah,
we know he's not quite.
Draymond's a little thicker. And,
yes, he is. He is.
You know, came out with long-range shooters.
Yes.
I mean, Draymond.
No, Draymond's
but it's
a great
interesting
player.
you mentioned. I didn't see that come with Draymond at college.
No, and the league is smaller now. There's a lot of mid-sized forwards that
true.
play away from the basket.
Yeah, Draymond has become just a terrific player. Mack outside, and there's Ellis again. You know, he anticipates very well when you watch him rebound, which is one of the keys to a good rebounder. Selden kicks it and stolen by Davis. Now watch Graham and Davis. One-on-one, and Davis gets inside. Graham wasn't going to foul him.
No. Davis again. We've talked about him during the year. Only a freshman from Saginaw.
Graham is very smart, Fran.
Yes, he is.
If this was a close game, coming down at the end, he would have challenged that all the way.
I think you're right. Absolutely. Well, I think back to that game where Kansas won at Oklahoma, and he had 27. Also guarded Buddy Hield extremely well.
They're bringing the shot clock down now, inside at 10. Big lead, 11 minutes to go in the game. Mason gets it on eBay.
How about that? How about that?
Just
he's
a
a bulldog.
creator.
Yep.
You know, he can get things done for you.
He's a Bulldog, Brent. He comes from Petersburg, Virginia. Now, he's not Moses Malone, but I'll tell you what.
Over Virginia, Xavier, Oklahoma, Miami, North Carolina, Oregon, West Virginia of the Big 12. 3 Big 12 teams in the top 10. I have to tell you, friend, hats off to Miami and what they have accomplished in the ACC.
Oh, you're exactly right. I'm going to see them Wednesday night up at Notre Dame with Bob Wischusen.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one, yep. Miami coming off a win at home on Saturday over Louisville.
So that's Wednesday night.
You know what,
right?
by the way, 2 Big 12 alumni for Miami. Sheldon McClellan,
right,
who played here, and our little guy, Angel Rodriguez.
Oh, exactly.
Remember?
Kansas State.
Yeah. Closer to home now, and McClellan, terrific shooting guard.
Mack on the drive. Into Graham's hands.
Nice pass.
Oh, Mikhailo inside to Luke, and Lucas finishes it.
Well, Bill Self just pointed at Svi, and he said, that's the way to move the ball.
You know, in our never-ending search for football players.
Yeah.
You know,
You got another one for us?
Our
Yeah.
company, Tight End Inc.
Yeah, tight end, eh?
I do.
I get a cut at 50-50?
Shaka has left him on the bench most of tonight, and I have a story about Shaquille Clare, the big fellow over there. We had a little conversation, but eBay, because he stayed out of foul trouble, we haven't seen too much of the player here tonight.
Yeah. But you like his NFL potential?
Well, I did until I talked to him.
And then he doesn't want to do
Well,
it?
I said, what position you play in high school football? He said, I didn't play high school football. I said, excuse me, Shaquille?
Well,
I said, why? Why did you play football? He said, my mother wouldn't let me. I said, excuse me? Yeah, she thought I was going to get hurt. Now, here we are. I mean, here's Witten, one of the great tight ends.
Yeah.
Plays for the Dallas Cowboys. Going to go to the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
Yes, he
will. Played down at Tennessee. And when we talk about tight ends, he's the prototype. His quarterback, Romo, with him here tonight. They traveled up and...
I saw Jayhawks. There's Tony. Yep. Now, by the way, you and I are going to...
Tony likes to study those numbers a lot. You know?
I don't know.
Let's check in with Holly Rowe. Holly.
Well, there's actually a really good reason that Jason Witten's here, other than just being a sports fan. He is lifelong best friends with an assistant coach on the Longhorns staff, Mike Morrell. They grew up together in a tiny little town, Elizabethton, Tennessee. They've said they've been tight best friends since they were in 5th grade. Jason used to go up and visit him at VCU. He addressed the VCU team the last couple of years, and now he's brought his loyalty and friendship to support Mike Morrell at Texas.
Yes, he played high school basketball with him. Hey, Brent, Tight Ends Incorporated, do you think we can get Witten on board as a consultant?
Absolutely.
It's not a 50-50 cut. Okay?
No, let's give him stock in return for joining our company, okay?
And by the way,
we don't have a good cash flow right now.
You were mentioning watching the Iowa State-Kansas State game the other night. Were you impressed with DJ Johnson and
absolutely.
how well he played for Bruce Weber?
I didn't recognize him with that new hairdo.
Yes.
I haven't seen that one in person yet. We'll see it in Kansas City. Well, but yes, he is another one of my football players.
Well, he's reminded me of Thomas Gibson a little bit. He's playing well lately, yeah.
Absolutely. Gibson's a good basketball
player.
But
we had him pegged for football a couple of years ago.
No question.
Yep.
And, of course, our man Rico Gathers, that he's telling one and all that he'd like a shot.
Yep.
He'd like to play. And it's interesting with Gathers. He actually could play football with the Baylor team this year if he wants to. Okay, he has eligibility on the football side, but I'm assuming that if there's any chance that an NFL team will look at him,
well, I think
he'll go because of the financial arrangements that would be involved in it. You know, you mentioned the guy. I'm going to tell you a story. John Havlicek was a great athlete. John Havlicek went to the Cleveland Browns back in the day when he came out of Ohio State before he became a Hall of Famer with the Celtics. John Havlicek went to the last cut with the Cleveland Browns. And John Havlicek, had he decided to play football, he would have been an NFL player. He was a terrific receiver.
Yeah,
and Paul Brown's staff and those guys said there was nothing like John Havlicek. And he went right down to the last cut. And, of course, the Boston Celtics were happy for that. Well, there comes my big fella. Now, here he comes. Now, I want you to look at this frame over here when Claire checks it. something else I like about Claire, Fran. I talked to him about. I said, "Are you left-handed at all?" He said, "No, I'm a natural right-handed." But he works with the left hand. When he was very young, he went to that offhand. You know, he's a little bit undersized underneath.
Yep.
But he's tricky, and there's that left hand that people don't see coming. Nice young man.
Well, he came to the United States from the Bahamas, where then he went to high school. So they didn't have football in the Bahamas, I don't think.
Well, he could have gone to Miami.
Yeah.
I know lots of schools.
But when he got to Houston, I'm sure they tried to talk him into football.
I mean, absolutely. Look at that frame.
Yeah.
Glamour knocks it down.
Listen, if Jesse Palmer's not available next fall, will you keep me in mind?
I will.
Okay, yeah. SEC Network games.
Absolutely. Jesse, you know, he's becoming a big star on that morning show with
I know he is. Yep.
Good Morning America. Yeah, wake up. Jesse's got big stories on his mind now. You know, he's got Donald Trump and Mrs. Hillary Clinton and all those big things that are going on.
He left the small time with Ben Musburger.
Tomorrow's Super Tuesday, a reminder to everybody. So go out and vote. Everybody go vote.
And then go home and watch Super Tuesday.
Absolutely. I guess it's. I should edit that. What have we got? 12 states. A few people in Florida. You can go to the polls tomorrow. We're a little early. Okay, I think that winner take all is coming up around March 14th or something like that, Fran.
Yes.
Texas has a big primary tomorrow, of course.
They do. Hey, getting back to Super Tuesday, Yogi Ferrell in Indiana. What a job he's done. We talk about all the great seniors in the country. That team, they were struggling in Maui. Boy, he's struggling tonight. Connor Lammer.
Yeah, he just hasn't been able to knock it down. You know, they do put a lot of pressure on themselves sometimes on senior night.
Yep. I've seen it, Brent. Absolutely.
And there's Claire. I believe a personal foul is going to be called.
We heard tonight it was very emotional about the names. Saying goodbye to George Niang. I'll be with John Shambi Saturday as Kansas celebrates senior night. And they're telling me that George Niang had the 8th dunk of his career tonight.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Diallo. Here's a freshman with a future in the Big 12. And that's Diallo, very highly recruited. Has been unable to break into the rotation, but he's going to get some minutes here. Finish up the game. Selden and Graham still on the floor. And Bragg is another name to remember, number 15. Tried to slip inside on that rebound off of this free throw.
And Bragg's had a number of good, solid performances off the bench. Diallo.
You know, it's a bummer when you have well, Claire didn't show us much with his hands there. I have to say, they've got numbers here, and Roach attacks, and a foul's going to be called against the Jayhawks. I'm going to say, on a night like this, a nearly packed arena and all that, you really kind of feel badly for the Longhorns. This crowd has been enthusiastic. They had a great win against Oklahoma, and it's just one of those nights.
Well, back-to-back days, sold out Irwin Center, and the future is bright. They have an outstanding point guard coming from Dallas, Andrew Jones. There's a young man in this area at St. Stephen's High School who's highly recruited. Jared Allen, Kansas is involved. I think Kentucky, Carolina, and Texas. He's a local kid. Shaka Smart is going to turn this program into, Rick Barnes and Tom Penders.
Did a great job there.
And Tom Penders as well.
Yes, and Penders preceded.
Yes.
Rick.
I mean,
both of them, good coaches.
Both of them did a terrific job here. And I'm sure Shaka Smart has got this thing definitely heading the right track. They've had so many great wins down the stretch.
Oh, they played so well. They've won 3 of their last 4. The big win over Oklahoma. And they just run into a buzzsaw tonight. Felix, nice drive.
And you just want to keep grinding away and cut into this lead. And it's going to be a surprising score tomorrow.
Gotta love Mikhailuk's future, too.
Yes.
As you look ahead to a possible 13th consecutive championship.
Oh, yeah. Well, they've got a number of these guys back. They'll lose the seniors, of course. Barry Ellis.
Yeah, they're going to miss Ellis big time. Terrific drive. Didn't stay down. First feed. Felix has battled away tonight. Missed that shot. Now here comes Graham, and he'll pull it out.
He'll shoot it, no?
Yeah. You know, you always think that when he touches the ball. And then he thought, maybe coach might not like that early in the
yeah.
You know.
57%.
Diallo. And there's a foul. So you come back, I believe Diallo, the freshman, is going to be on the free throw line for the Jayhawks.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball.
For that draw.
You realize that Oklahoma and Iowa State, both in the top 10 for much of the year, are going to see each other in a quarterfinal matchup.
That's how tough this conference is.
Yep.
There's the young man, Diallo. What do we think?
Well,
I can't remember if I've watched him shoot a lot of free throws.
Well, he doesn't have a bad touch, Brent. He's new to the game. He's only played a couple of years. He's from Mali. I really hope he comes back. Yep. I really hope he comes back. There's some talk that, you know, a team would take him in the late first round. I know. You know, I hate to say it because I used this line before. He's 2 years away from being maybe even 2 years away. And by that, I simply mean he's not going to help an NBA team for 3 or 4 years.
Holland.
It's not a knock on him. He's just very raw in the game. And
I mean, look at eBay.
yeah.
eBay should be the model for him. Look at how he's improved and he's going to get a big look.
And I think he's ahead of where eBay was at the same stage, without a doubt. Top 10 high school players in the country last year. MVP of the McDonald's game.
Ellis attacks, comes back around. Lucas hustles back, gets it, got an open man. Mason, he feeds Green, and Green will shoot free throw. Very unselfish on Mason's part. He had an easy layup, and he decided to feed the ball.
That's what you do when you're a team leader. This is a smart play simply because he's rewarding a guy that doesn't do or play the kind of minutes that he does.
Well, it's a shame. A lot of stars were here tonight for the Longhorns. Tom Kite, great golfer, who won a U.S. Open out at Pebble Beach. 92, big Longhorn fan. Likes to watch their football and basketball game. Roger Clemens.
Yep.
Great pitcher here tonight. Of course, you saw the football fellas over there. And speaking of stars, Kevin Durant played a year here. The Thunder at the Clippers. And that'll be the second game after the Pistons and the Spurs coming up.
I remember a great Kevin Durant, AC Law, Texas A&M game, double overtime here. One of the great games in the Big 12 in the last decade.
Claire bumps on Lucas. And Lucas said to the referee, "Are you kidding me?" Well, there's that. It was actually the Seattle Supersonics who drafted him, and he played a year up in Seattle. You know, our stats man, George Hill, has never, ever forgiven the Sonics for moving.
They got to build
lives in Seattle.
I know. They got to build an arena, and what a great fan base that was, right?
Oh, yeah. And for more on actually one of the great shooters that I watched in this building, let's go to Holly.
Well, Kevin Durant has been very supportive of this new coaching staff. In fact, when Shaka Smart got the job, he hadn't yet even told his VCU team about it. And TJ Ford reached out to him and said, "Look, I know you're going to be busy in the next 24 hours, but 3 guys are waiting by their phone. Royale Ivy, Kevin Durant, and LaMarcus Aldridge." And so Shaka called those guys within 24 hours of taking the job. All 3 said, "Whatever you need. We are Longhorns for life. We are here to support you." And they will do whatever it takes to get the Longhorn tradition back and proud. Good to have a few guys like that, All-Americans and legendary players in your back pocket.
Great feed to Lucas by Selden.
Yep, that is terrific. You know, Selden not really looking for his offense. We've seen him make some shots, Brent, but just a great find, excellent execution. You know, I'll take you back to Kevin Durant's freshman year in Allen Fieldhouse. He had 27, I think, at the half. And then he got hurt. But Kansas people will say it's one of the great performances in that building.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. Coach Howard told me tonight, he said, we thought he was going to score 100 points.
Yep.
So Holland fouls out with 8 points. 5.5 minutes. Lucas continuing to do what he does, pull down those rebounds. That's what Coach told him when he took him aside. Said, you go in and you get my rebounds, you come out and help screen, and you can really help this basketball team. And that's exactly what Lucas has done. Bringing the clock down, 5-minute mark. Ellis backing in, lost control, over to Claire. And 3-on-1,
yes.
And there goes Roach doing what he does best.
Terrific athlete, former state high triple jump champ.
Triple jump.
Yep.
I think a couple years in a row.
Yeah, yep. But he's going to be an excellent player. He and Davis and Mack and the group coming in.
No shot.
Yep, this is a kid that's just a tremendous athlete. His skill level is improving, and he's had a number of really highlight, real Sports Center type dunks this year. One against Texas Arlington, which was absolutely unbelievable.
This would give Ellis, well, the next one, if he makes it, we'll give him 20 points tonight. Fran, I look forward to seeing you in Las Vegas. We'll be, before we get to Kansas City to the Big 12. That's a great assignment to do the West Coast tournament.
We got another guy coming with us, right?
Mr. Dickie V will join us. Looking forward to that. Well, it'll be terrific out there. We'll get to see St. Mary's. They're the leader.
Yes.
Gonzaga chasing them. Joey Brackets, remember, he told us that it looked like Gonzaga was going to have to win that tournament to get in to the big dance.
St. Mary's swept them this year.
And in BYU, I watched Gonzaga and BYU the other night. Won by Gonzaga. And you like that player, you like Sabonis.
Sabonis, excellent for Gonzaga. Wilcher can shoot it.
Right.
BYU's got the Collinsworth kid who's a triple-double machine.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
And here, the Jayhawks, 4 minutes away, folks, from wrapping up a Big 12 championship. They will not share this title. They've already captured at least a tie, but with this win, West Virginia cannot catch them. Oklahoma was eliminated here Saturday, and it will be. Fran, how many years did Bill and the Jayhawks share the title during this 12-year run?
4 different years of the 12. I think Oklahoma, Kansas State, Texas twice. Rick Barnes. I think Bill Self would rather not share the title.
Oh, no, this is going to have one. You know, Bill seemed really happy, forgetting the streak for a minute. Bill seemed really happy for this team. And they've ended every huddle since the beginning of the year. Big 12 champs. And they're all of that again. Bill Self called her out in the middle of practice to talk to the team. I said, get one of those photographs, and our crew did. It was wonderful, and Holly, I can't tell you how badly we missed you the few weeks that you were not here. I know I said I wouldn't make a big thing out of it, but it's a pleasure to have you back, and someone who's a warrior like you. Much good health in the future, dear, and great job.
Thank you, Brent. Don't make me cry on national TV.
Well, Holly, Brent's going to make me cry because he didn't think I was a good sideline reporter.
Holly, dear.
I didn't fill in well enough, did I?
No.
She got her job back. You told me don't give up your day job.
I said, you get back over here on this table, all right, man? I got a Hall of Famer coming back here. Here's Roach now on the drive. Rebounded by Lucas. 30-point game. It was a blowout in the early going. The Jayhawks, after I think we had about 43 seconds of scoreless basketball, Jayhawks scored, went on a 15-0 run, and it was basically history. And well, there's the Sonic Showdown tonight. You can see the shooting differential here tonight. every which way. And that sonic showdown really shows you what the difference was.
Well, we did the first game, Brent, and we were impressed with how well Texas played at Allen Fieldhouse. And tonight it was the opposite. Kansas just jumped on the Longhorns.
We've seen this Texas team play well at Baylor and in other games, and I'm going to say really it was the Jayhawks. They're just a really good, maturing basketball team as we approach the conference tournament and the big dance. This is going to be, in all likelihood, one of the 1 seeds, if not the #1 team in the tournament. I mean, this is impressive. Michigan State does not lead the Big Ten. They're very highly rated, #2 in that AP poll. If they win the Big Ten tournament coming up, I think they could jump to that 1 line. Would you agree with that, Fran?
Yep, I would. And Michigan State did beat Kansas, but very, very early in the year in a game, Kansas controlled for much of that game until Denzel Valentine took over. That would be a great rematch.
Claire clears it out. Here's Yancey on a nice crossover move and 1.
Yancey has provided Shaka Smart with some toughness and defense this year, a little offense. Junior from Richardson, Texas, right outside of Dallas.
So, Fran, how many total points do we have in this game? 133, is that right?
Yep.
Well, there's at least one thing still up in the air. So Vic has checked in. Green. And taken down by Davis. So magic number, folks, is 141 for those of you who are still with us.
So some want some more points and some don't want.
That's right, exactly. And there is a foul. Mickelson. And also, no, it's on Zvi. Michaeluk. Well, Sports Center coming up. Lucci and Steve Levy. They'll have all the highlights from the other college games, the NBA and the National League. And then Mr. Van Pelt will be up a little bit later, right? I always get a chance to watch him when I'm packing that suitcase to get out of Dodge.
Mr. Maryland Terrapin?
Yeah, absolutely. Good basketball fan.
Big basketball fan, absolutely.
He's a good college sports player. He's a good sports fan, too. And one of the seniors is going to get a chance to check in here for Texas. Mickelson turned it over, and athletic ability, but Roach didn't finish. Off now to Vic.
This freshman played really well for Bill Self at the World University game. Just can't get on the court. But
there's a 3.
Yeah, keep an eye on him. Really athletic. In fact, Bill Self told me early in the year might be the most athletic player.
So here's a young man. What a great thing this is for him. Danny Newsom, senior from Houston, Texas. He was introduced on senior night. He's getting a nice ovation. He gets to close it out here for the last minute. Funny how, I watched him in practice, Fran.
Yeah.
If he gets loose coming down the baseline, he will stuff it. Okay.
Yes.
Young man's got some hops. Is he the young man who started as a student manager once when he was a freshman or something?
Maybe, but I'll tell you, if I could change his name to like, Marinovich or something, I think I could get him a job in Europe.
It's true.
Change his name. He's athletic. Looks like a
6'10".
player. Yeah.
6'10". Let's see what he does. He comes out to help his teammate with a high screen. And Roach, with that athletic ability, just doesn't finish. Stolen back, however, by McClurg, who's seeing some minutes. And Mack is out there with him. 110, Mack, and he'll be on the free throw line.
And Tyler Self, Evan Manning in the game for Kansas now.
Yeah, Coach Bill Self's son, number 11, is out there. And Danny Manning's son is also on the floor. Evan Manning, he's number 5 for the Jayhawks. I always get a kick out of these youngsters going to finish up a game like this.
Without a doubt.
It's so terrific. There's Danny's son right there.
They practice hard every day.
Absolutely.
They're treated like anybody else.
84-55. Final minute. Nicholson, and he's going to be back on that free throw line. And Fran, for tonight's player of the game, brought to you by Phillips 66. There's no doubt about Curry Ellis.
Yep, very. He kills you softly. He kills you nice and quietly. 11 field goals. He gets his 20. And Saturday afternoon is going to be his senior day for the last time playing at Allen Fieldhouse as a Kansas Jayhawk. And John Shambi and I will be there, and it's going to be pretty emotional.
Absolutely.
Soon. This young man is going to be in the record books forever, and he's going to bring his kids back to Allen Fieldhouse someday, and he's going to have great memories.
Nicholson missed 2 free throws. Newsom spins, fires, air ball. And it's Texas ball with 40 seconds to go. Newsom's going to fire a 3. No. Outlet pass to Mickelson. Yes. 33 seconds. And a foul is called. A pushing foul. The math amazes me sometimes. I have to tell you, folks. It really does. Bingo.
As well as Texas has played the last 10 games, Shaka Smart's got his work cut out for him this week because the Horns have to go to Oklahoma State and finish the regular season. They played with so much confidence, but this was a first-round TKO tonight.
First one we've had on Big Monday.
Yep.
Great string of games in the Big 12. Very competitive conference. Final 20 seconds.
I bet you Bill Self says no more shots here.
No, they'll just run it out. Totals at 142. Kansas with a big win. Nicely done by the Jayhawks. Undisputed champions of the Big 12. 12 championships in a row. The #1 seed in Kansas City. A 30-point win. Coming up next is Sports Center for Fran Fraschilla and Holly Rowe. I'm Brett Musburger saying so.